Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage, Jordan Stupar!
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing today? Let's go. Who's ready to dramatically increase your sales? Raise your hand, make some noise. I want to talk to you guys today about the sales algorithm. It's something that I created, and it's something that you guys can use to make more money. But essentially, when coming to Closer School Live, when Bradley called me and he's like, hey, Stupar, you want to come on my stage and talk about sales? I started thinking about all the different types of things I know about sales, like handling objections, like following up, like having a good mindset, cold calling, scheduling appointments, increasing show rates. There's a lot of different types of topics that you can talk about. And the thing that I want to do is I want to talk about the thing that really, really, really matters, and that's going to be your sales pitch. At the end of the day, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jordan Stupar. I run a multi-million-dollar sales training company out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. How many of you guys have ever been to Wisconsin? All right. That's more people than I thought. It's probably not likely that Wisconsin is on your bucket list of places to go or visit, but if you do go, we have got great beer and great cheese, and you might run into me. At the end of the day, it's a great place. The thing that I want to do is I want to talk about the one thing that we all have in common. There's some salespeople here, there's some entrepreneurs here. At the end of the day, there's a lot of commonalities here, but the thing that we definitely all have in common as salespeople, entrepreneurs, is we all have to present our product. It doesn't matter if you're in real estate, you've got to go show a house. If you're selling solar, you have to talk about the panels that go on top of the roof. If you're talking about sales training, you got to talk about your product. And so I want to talk to you guys about a method and an approach that you guys can use to make more money and influence people into making the best decision that they can make. The problem with sales pitches, though, is that most sales pitches fail miserably. I remember throughout the 20 years that I've been in sales, not really knowing what I was doing and just feature vomiting on people and not knowing what type of questions to ask and not knowing where to take the conversation and how best to build value and build urgency, while getting my buyer to come to their own conclusion that what I'm selling is the thing for them to purchase. And in fact, this is a big problem for the sales industry. I did a little bit of research and found that the average salesperson in America makes $40,000 a year. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I didn't get into sales. I didn't sign up to go knock doors or make cold calls so I could make $40,000 a year. I want you guys to think about that decision, that first time where you did a sales interview and you were thinking about getting into sales. Some of you guys, it could be recently, some it could be a long time ago. But none of us got into sales to make $40,000 a year. Now, I would suspect that an audience like this here at Closer School Live, that you guys are at the end of that spectrum, at least making six figures a year. And if you're not, I feel you, because I wasn't always a six-figure guy. This is literally not a bank statement, but the thing that you get when you go to the bank and they leave you with your balance. Now, I was a broke ass. I don't know, and hopefully none of you guys have ever had only $500 in your bank account, but about 10 years ago, that was my reality. I was living in New York City at the time. I was the top sales professional at the company that I worked at, and they capped my ass out at $40,000. It was brutal. And I don't know if you guys know about New York City and know about making $40,000 a year, but it don't work. It was the most miserable experience of my life, and I'm grateful for it because I had to make a decision. What else am I going to do with my life? I'm not a college graduate. I dropped out. I don't have any specific musician talents, or I'm not an actor or anything. Sales was going to have to be the vehicle that I could use to get rich. And so what I did in 2013 is I threw my Xbox out of the window. I made a lot of sacrifices and a lot of commitments, and I went into total isolation mode for years. Like you guys, I've read every single sales book that's ever been printed. Like you guys, I've gone to YouTube and I've watched every single video from somebody talking about sales in the 1960s, 1970s, and things didn't work out or improve for me right away. So I started reading more books about psychology, the human brain, and how specific people make specific decisions. And with years of isolation, practicing, and dedicating every waking moment of my life to perfecting my sales process, I was finally able to experience some success. This is an actual photo from the sales board at my last job for some month of production. You'll see here that I was the top dog, and I didn't do this and get lucky a couple of months in a row. I did this month after month, year over year, making millions of dollars in revenue every single year. And by the way, this wasn't because I had like inbound leads. This was literally going onto Google, typing in some type of industry, going to a business's website, going to their Meet the Staff, figuring out who the owner was or the person was that could make a decision, and writing their name down on a sheet of paper. At this specific sales job, I was given a computer, a desk phone, and a pen. They're like, here's your lead list. It was blank. I had to fill it all in myself. So I'm talking about being able to generate hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of value every single month, outproducing an entire sales team and being the top dog. Now, of course, with this type of production, I started earning some actual checks, something I could be proud of. This check right here is for October 2016. I made $32,000 that month. The next month, I made $24,000. The next month, I made $18,000 in the front half of December. Then I got my big check, $188,000 in a month. Let's go! This is why we got into sales. None of us got into sales to make $4,000 a month. We got into sales so that we could buy fancy shit. We got into sales so we can have big-ass dinners, unbelievable trips with our families, and take care of them. Dude, when I made $188,000, I followed it up next month with $64,000. Some of you guys might be better at math than I am, and you're calculating this in your head. That slide didn't work out so great. That's $325,000 in sales commissions in 3 months. How many of you guys would like to do that on autopilot and get so good at what you sell that you're literally bored? Let's go. Now, this is my personal experience, and this was the money that I made before becoming an entrepreneur, running a business and hiring employees and having all sorts of overhead and things to deal with. So, if you're an entrepreneur, you didn't get into entrepreneurship to make $1 million. You got into entrepreneurship to make several $1 million, or whatever your personal goal is. But for me, the thing that I wanted to do is I just wanted to get rich. I wanted to be somebody that I could be proud of, and I wanted to be able to support and provide for my family. And so I made a decision. And at the end of the day, I went from being a guy that pointed at the cars that he wanted to drive. I used to be the guy that pointed at the houses that I wanted to live in. I used to be the guy that pointed at the trips that I wanted to take. And I turned into the guy that actually drove the car that I wanted to drive. I turned into the person that rented the apartments or the condos or the houses that I wanted to live in. And I became a different person. And the big difference here isn't necessarily being able to handle every single objection. The big difference here isn't always necessarily making more phone calls or working harder or 10xing. I know a lot of people that wear acronyms on their hat that are broke asses and can't produce results consistently. So what's the difference between a great salesperson and a kick-ass salesperson? That's what I'm going to share with you guys. Because at the end of the day, why should you care about my story? Why should you care about my success? The reason is because all of you guys are here for one reason. Whether you're currently earning $4,000 a month, or you're earning $40,000 a month, or you're earning $4 million a month, you're here because there's something left on the table for you. How many of you guys would agree with that? The needle can still move. And so I'm going to help share something, a bulletproof strategy, and you guys can take some notes because you're going to want to. And it's something that you can literally implement regardless of what you sell. I don't care if you sell solar panels. I don't care if you sell cars. I don't care if you sell insurance policies. The thing that I'm going to teach you guys is going to be a game changer for you, like it has for literally thousands of other salespeople that I've coached and trained in the last couple years. For those of you that don't know what an algorithm is, it is an ordered set of instructions recursively applied to transform data input, what your customer says, into data output, what you say in your sales pitch, what you highlight, such as a mathematical solution, a search engine result, or predictive text suggestions. How many of you guys feel like selling would be a little bit easier if it didn't really matter what the fuck your customer told you? It doesn't matter what questions they ask. It doesn't matter what type of service provider they use right now. It doesn't matter because you have control with an algorithm. If X, then Y is essentially what an algorithm is. And I'm going to help install this into your brains today so that you guys can make more money and run a more effective sales pitch that actually converts customers and gets them to want what you sell. How many of you guys agree that selling would be easier if your customers actually wanted what it is that you sold? Hopefully, yes. I know that that's what I would want, and so that's what I'm going to help share with you guys today. But before I dive into the actual actionable information here, I want to start setting the table. One of the problems that I always had with my sales pitch is that I would have a sales pitch, and I would pitch Bob my product, and Bob would be a laydown. Bob would buy from me. And then I would use that same sales pitch on Trevor, and Trevor wouldn't buy. Why? Because there's different types of buyers. And the best that I've been able to find out are these 4 right here. And if you're taking notes, you can jot these down. Now, I could talk to you guys literally at length for hours about just this. And I've done it before. But I don't want to bore you because we didn't come here just to learn about people. The controller buyer, though, in a nutshell, is somebody that literally is just trying to get something done. You can recognize this type of buyer because they're just going to ask you, what's your best price? Get to the meat and potatoes. Get to the point. It's me when I go to the Porsche dealership. I just want a car that goes fast. I don't care about the details. I don't know why you put the engine in the back and kept it that way. I don't care about fuel economy. I don't care about the tire pressure. I just want a car that goes fast around a track. I'm a controller buyer, and it's easy to identify because they're simply just trying to figure something out and make a decision. For those of you selling B2B, this is going to be your typical CEO. This is going to be your general manager. This is going to be somebody that is just trying to get shit done. Then you have an analytical buyer. That's my wife. I can't tell you, last year we bought a couple Porsches, a new truck, and a Benz. She's usually still at the dealership trying to get details and information, and then I'm out of there. I've already got the car. I'm gone. Because she cares about gas mileage. She cares about fuel economy. She cares about the details. I don't. I get the car. She's still there at the dealership trying to get some information. Then you have a sociable buyer. These are my favorite people to sell to because they care about the relationship that they're forming with you, and they also care about how other people are going to perceive their decision. So this is going to be a lot of people that are vice presidents. This is going to be a lot of people that, obviously, as a homeowner, if you're selling solar or something, this is where they're going to care about their family. And they're also going to care a great deal about you. So you're going to want to make sure to tailor your pitch to somebody and slow your process down and actually build rapport with a sociable buyer. Everybody talks about building rapport, but building rapport with me is not the right thing to do. I don't care about your family dog, your last vacation, or what you did last weekend. I just want to buy it. Can you give me the information that I need to do that? And then finally, you have a creator buyer. You can't really prepare for these buyers because it's like selling something to Elon Musk. He's going to try to use your life insurance policy on Mars. Or he's going to do something weird. You can't really prepare, and good news is that there's not a lot of creator buyers out there, so you don't really need to put too much time and attention on figuring out those people. And again, I can talk at length about this, but I want to start just setting the table. Once you understand who you're actually talking to, I think it's doing that delay. I was warned about this. There we go. The next thing I want to cover is the cliche and very true statement that people buy off of emotion and then they close with logic. How many of you guys are familiar with that line? Hopefully, most of you. Right? And so if that's so simple and that's how sales is done, is by getting somebody to become emotional and then making sure that they can budget it, afford it, and that it actually solves a problem with logic, how come nobody ever talks about the actual emotions that we need to create and generate with our buyers? We just keep on saying like, we just got to make more calls. At the end of the day, we can get people emotional about what it is that we do. What's the first thing that they try to do when you get to the car dealership? They put you in a car. Why? So that you can get emotional about the exhaust noise, about the handling, the feeling of the wheel in your hands. That's what they're trying to do, and that's why that works so well. So let's talk about these emotions. I want you guys to think real quick, and if you're taking notes, think about your product, your service, and the things that you actually sell. What specific emotion do you think your buyers feel or experience right when they're about to make a purchase with you? What are these specific emotions? And again, we all sell all sorts of stuff and we create different emotional responses. How can we drill down and find that one that people actually buy from? You guys can write down these 6 words. These are the 6 emotions that cause people to buy stuff. 1 is relief. If you got shot, what do? You go straight to a hospital. You don't care about the bill. You want to get some relief from the pain that you're having of having a bullet lodged in your body. If your mortgage payments are too high and you didn't attend Closer School Live and you didn't get any better, what are you going to do? You're going to make a decision to buy a different house that's affordable, something that actually makes sense for you. The second emotion is going to be confidence. I've built a multi-million-dollar business, not in sales training, but by giving people confidence, by knowing what to do next, by knowing what to say. They feel more confident talking to customers and pitching them and handling objections. I want people to feel confident throughout my sales pitch. And if I can transfer that energy and I can get you to actually feel confident, it's likely that you're going to give me your money, just like it could be for you if you're in a similar industry. The third emotion is competence. Can you help get somebody to get something done faster, more effective, more efficient, more organized? Do they feel more competent? We all understand and experience that. I might buy a Porsche 911 for confidence, but I might upgrade it and get a better one to feel more competent around a racetrack, better handling, whatever that might actually look like. Then you have accepted. Somebody might just buy a Porsche 911 because they don't even care about its speed or anything. They just want to be able to pull up to their friends who have other exotic cars, and they might make that purchase so that they can feel accepted. Now, if I do a really good job in my business and I blow this thing up and all of you guys were my clients, well, then I can also not only sell confidence, but I can also make you feel accepted and part of a movement, part of something that's actually growing. Then you have Savvy, a little tiny company named Walmart, made trillions, getting people to feel like they're getting a good deal. You don't go to Walmart to buy the best products. You go to Walmart knowing damn well you're getting the best possible price for those products. You feel like you're getting a deal. And then you have creative. Apple, they built a massive trillion-dollar company on helping the end user feel more creative, like they can actually get a specific result that's different than the one they're getting right now by having an Apple computer or by having an iPhone or whatever it is. So I want you guys to think, which one of these 6 emotions is the main character throughout your sales pitch? What is the main thing that somebody should be experiencing or feeling from your product and service? And once you think about what that one main character emotion is, I want you to think on, are there any others that could be a supporting cast? Because these are the things you are going to drive home in your sales pitch. And these are the emotions that people are literally going to be feeling by talking to you over screen share or at the customer's house or over the phone, wherever it is. This is hopefully, if you're doing your job right, what your customers are going to be experiencing. And so now that we know the 4 different types of buyers that we're talking to, and now that we know what type of emotional response we're trying to get from those buyers, the next thing that I want to do is I want to make this real for you. If you guys look around the room, there's a lot of you. Came from all over the country, maybe even all over the world in different walks of life. We all got here. I can guarantee that every single one of you guys, at the time when you did a swipe up on Brad Lee's Instagram and literally purchased a ticket, you were feeling some type of way. When you were on the phone because somebody called you and they're like, hey, you coming to Closer School Live? What's your credit card number? Right before you gave them that credit card number, you were probably feeling some type of way. Some of you are here because Q1 sucked ass. And you're like, dude, I need to get better. I need to experience relief because we'll go out of business or I won't be able to sustain my life if my sales don't improve. Some of you guys are here because your Q1, your Q2 is awesome. You're off to a record start. You don't need relief. You just came here because you saw a bunch of people on social media that were coming and you wanted to be accepted knowing that you would also be here as well. And the list goes on. And so each one of you guys probably experienced one of these emotions before actually making a purchase. So now that we understand all that, what I want to do is get into the actionable section of what I want to talk about and give you guys some actual, what I like to call, sauce. Because at the end of the day, there's a difference between juice and sauce. Juice expires, and sauce is going to have some staying power for you guys. This will be something that you can literally use over and over and over again on repeat to make more money, like I showed you, like I did. A lot of you guys are familiar with features, and I mentioned feature vomiting a second ago, where somebody's like, yeah, man, it's got this, it's got that, it's got this, it's got that. Features, so that we can be clear, is one component of whatever it is that you're selling that allows your buyer to do something. I see a lot of people taking photos of my slides. A feature of your phone would be the camera. Now, we all know what a camera does and what it's useful for, but at the end of the day, it doesn't get anybody emotional. It doesn't trigger any real reason to make a purchase and separate myself from my cash. But unfortunately, most salespeople live right here. Oh, it's got this, it's got that, it's got this, it's got that. And we just vomit features on our buyers. Again, this is a mistake, and of course, you'll probably end up being one of those broke-ass salespeople making 40 grand a year. Now, some of you guys are maybe familiar with advantages. Advantages is the thing that your buyer can do or have because of the feature that they now own. Obviously, a camera on a phone allows you to take a photo, and it allows you to literally hang on to a specific memory or time from your perspective. That's what a camera does. And again, advantages don't generate emotional responses that we need from our buyers in order to get them to buy something. So, there's a thing called benefits. Every advantage comes with a benefit. And the benefit now is that intangible thing or that feeling that somebody has because they now are able to do or have something. In other words, if I was selling cell phones to somebody and I understood that one of their things that they were trying to do is rack up more followers on Instagram, I would say, hey, I've got this kick-ass, unbelievable iPhone 14 Pro Max. It comes with a blah, blah, blah megapixel camera feature, which means, advantage, you can take high-quality content, shoot slow-motion videos in 4K right from your phone. Pretty sweet. Which means benefit, The content that you upload to your Instagram feed is going to be high quality. It's going to be something that hacks the algorithm, gets more eyeballs, more comments, more likes, more saves, more shares, and ultimately gets you more followers. Now I'm speaking to your emotions of being accepted on Instagram by having a large following. I'm talking to you about being more confident in the shooting that you do with your phone. I'm talking to you about being more competent with a better, higher quality camera that actually creates quality content. And this is just one example of a camera on a phone. I'm not talking about storage space. I'm not talking about the fact that you'll likely feel more accepted by other iPhone users if you finally switched off of the Android. By the way, how many Android users in the room? Probably like 3 of you. Fact. Android users do not make as much money as iPhone users. Do I need to say it again? Fuck your green bubbles, man. I had to say it. So now that you know that most people in this room who are probably out earning you have an iPhone, the thing that you should do is probably get one so you can feel accepted. Because we won't accept you into our mass group text messages if your bubbles turn green. How many of you guys want to switch to an iPhone now? Don't lie to me. I know that you're feeling it. You're like, damn, dude, he's got a point. I'm tired of my family talking shit to me about my Droid. So go get an iPhone. Who said that shit? I'm coming back there in a minute. So you guys are hopefully now kind of catching this idea that there's multiple emotions and things that people experience that cause them to at least consider their guy in the back of switching from a Droid to an iPhone. Now, horrible salespeople, as I already mentioned, are just going to talk about features. Hey man, new iPhone Pro Max 14, whatever, it has a blah, blah, blah megapixel camera. Who gives a shit? I'm not going to buy it because you said it has a blah, blah, blah megapixel camera. So a good salesperson will follow the process that I literally just gave you of feature, advantage, and benefit. And by the way, for some of you guys that have spent any time educating yourselves in sales, you probably are familiar with FAB, feature, advantage, and benefit. This is nothing new yet. Now I'm going to put some sauce on it here in a second because kick-ass salespeople, the ones that are making 325 G's in 3 months, they're going to do what I do and what I'm going to share with you right now. So real quick, because I know a lot of you guys are taking some notes and you're trying to get this all down, is write down one feature of something that you sell. If you sell cars, it could be the engine. If you're selling a life insurance policy, it could be the death benefit. Whatever it is, I want you to be mindful and think of one feature of something that you sell. And then as we go on, I'm going to give you guys some homework that most of you guys won't do. And I want you guys to write down all of the features of what you sell with all the advantages and all of the benefits so that you can properly demonstrate every single portion of your product and service, and you can do it the right way. So what do kick-ass salespeople do? Well, let's take this little event here that we've got called Closer School Live. Okay, Closer School Live has a lot of features. I'm a feature. Brad Lee is a feature. Sam Taggart is a feature. The speakers are one feature of this event. And some of you guys came here for that and that alone. That was the main thing that you cared about, was hearing from some quality speakers so that you can make more money and have more confidence. Now, if I was selling a ticket and I was on the phone with one of you guys or a screen share or I was talking to you face to face and I'm trying to sell you a $5,000 ticket to Closer School Live, I don't have a slide for this, but you guys can write this down, is I will get and introduce price as fast as I possibly can with you. I want to remind you, tickets start at $5,000 here for Closer School Live. Make sense? You can pop in a quick make sense. One thing that you're going to do is you're going to get the jokers out of the deck, as I like to say. I don't want to spend any time talking or pitching my product to somebody that can't afford it. How many of you guys have wasted time doing that before? How much time has that actually cost you? For me, dude, it cost me a decade of my life. The second thing it's going to do is it's going to help anchor the value that you're going to be presenting. This means if I'm selling you a $5,000 ticket, I better be able to show $5,000 worth of value. Third thing it's going to do is help eliminate pricing objections later on. How many of you guys have gone out and bought clothes? You see a jacket that you like, pair of pants, something, and as you're approaching it, you start putting a value and a price tag on it. You're like, if that jacket is less than $500, I'm buying it. And then you open it up, you're like, dude, $1,200 for a jacket? Fuck that. That's what we do with our sales pitches, man. We talk and talk and talk and talk, and then the customers, they're like, dude, what is this going to cost? They're approaching the jacket. They open it up, and literally price can be that one reason why they decide to stall out on you, because it was more or higher than what they had perceived in their own mind. So give your prices up front. And then lastly, and probably most importantly, giving a price up front allows you to kind of give somebody a back door, take the pressure off a little bit, and actually put the ball in their court to explain to you what they would need to see in order to justify a decision. So in which case I would say, hey, tickets start at $5,000. Make sense? Yeah, I guess. It's a lot of money. I know. Brad charges lots of money. It's worth it. Now look, I'm not going to say that you should buy a ticket today. Back door, low pressure. I'm not going to say that this is going to be a perfect fit for you or something that you should even do. But if you were going to spend $5,000 today and buy yourself a ticket to 2 days of back-to-back value in Las Vegas, I'm curious, what would the 1, 2, maybe 3 things that you would need to see or hear from me or know right now in order to feel comfortable making an investment like that today? You guys can steal that line. It has made me millions of dollars. Because I'm up front in my sales pitch now. I'm taking the guesswork out of what I need to show you, because for all I know, talking about Closer School Live, maybe you don't give a shit about the speakers. Maybe you care most about sitting up front with some higher quality people that also spent $5-6 on a ticket so that you can create better friendships and network with people. Maybe you don't give a shit about that. And all you're looking to do is get out of town for a day or two, come to Las Vegas, maybe learn a couple of things, but mostly you're optimizing for taking some time off and being able to spend a day at a cabana by a swimming pool. Cool, man. I'll sell you that. But I need to know what to sell you. Also, if you're really paying attention, I'm only asking for a couple of things here. And if you're really, really paying attention, as soon as you answer my question and tell me what you need to see, you've already made a verbal agreement with me that if I do my job and I check those couple of boxes, that I can be comfortable and confident asking you for your money. Now, I don't know about you guys, but as a salesperson, I like getting paid when I do my job. Now, the unfortunate part is that a lot of salespeople do their job but don't get paid. Why? Because we don't make it abundantly clear to ourselves what that job actually is and what the things are that people need to see in order to justify making an investment and giving you their cold hard cash. So in this example, I would say, hey, tickets to Closer School Live start at $5,000. Now look, I'm not going to tell you that it's going to be perfect for you or that you should even come. But if you were going to drop 5 stacks of high society on your education, curious, what would the 1, 2, maybe 3 things be that you would absolutely need to know about this event in order to feel comfortable making an investment like that in yourself? And then I'm literally just going to sit there and wait for you to say something, and I'm going to write it down, because that's my sales pitch. I don't need to talk about everything that I know about this event in order to get you emotional about coming. So in which case, as a reminder, horrible salespeople will jump on the horn with you and say, hey man, got this kick-ass event out here in Vegas. It's $5,000, want to go? And then nobody purchases because it's like, no, I don't fucking want to go to some kick-ass event. They need to know what's really there. They need to feel some type of way about buying that ticket. So in which case, as a perfect example of what you guys can do with homework, is start with one feature of whatever it is that you sell. In which case, I would say, great. One of the main reasons why hundreds of people are canceling their weekend plans, flying in to Las Vegas and spending 2 days is because, bro, Closer School Live, we got 7 kick-ass speakers that are going to be able to give you value, which means that you'll be able to actually get multiple different perspectives and approaches, some tactical shit that you can put into your sales process. Which means when you get back home, benefit, you'll be able to implement some of these approaches and some of these perspectives and some of these strategies into what you do and make more money, increasing your competence and probably feeling a little bit more confident the next time you're in your sales presentation. That's what a good salesperson would do. And I'd give you a B+. Good job. You made it through the feature, advantage, and benefit. Now this is where I really want you guys to pay attention, because here's the difference between juice and sauce. Is immediately after giving somebody the benefit, I'm going to ask them every single time, what are you currently doing right now to ensure that you're able to get high-level, actionable information from people that are actually successful that you can use to make more sales and become more confident? And that's usually where you hear somebody say, that's why I'm talking to you. Or I'm not really doing much of that to ensure, like guaranteed, like no, I'm not doing anything. Hey, I got it. And that is why so many people are buying tickets to Closer School Live. You're going to use some inclusive language right there to help them feel accepted. And then what I'm going to do, well, before I move on real quick, this is what I call an emotional gap question. What are you currently doing to ensure that you're taking full advantage of your home's utilities and having control over your electric bill for solar? What are you currently doing right now to make sure that if something happened to you or your spouse, that neither you or your spouse would be on the hook for mortgage payments and for debt? That's life insurance. What are you currently doing? All you're doing is taking the benefit that you just laid out for somebody. And by the way, if you don't get this benefit and you don't do business with me, what are you doing to ensure that you get this? And as you know, people can't get what they don't get. So I'm creating an emotional gap here on confidence and competence in this example with the speakers and getting different perspectives and all that shit. Then I'm going to wrap it up with one more haymaker of a question. You would agree that if you bought a ticket to Closer School Live and had access to the information of multi-million-dollar producers with different perspectives, that you'd be able to implement what you learn into your business, pay for your ticket and ROI almost immediately the time you get back to your home, and feel more confident the next time you're in front of a customer, right? This is borderline manipulation, Illuminati shit. You would agree that if you bought a ticket, came here, you would get this type of result, right? Yeah. That's called an inarguable yes question. How the fuck are you going to argue with me? You would agree that if you bought our gym membership and actually came in occasionally and followed a little bit of what we say, you'd lose weight and feel better about your life and feel more confident when you got dressed in the mirror the next day, right? Yeah, I would. So that's literally, in the actual sales pitch, that's only a couple minutes long. But you're going to repeat this process 3 to 5 times. You're going to check all your boxes. And I like connecting each benefit by saying, in addition to the fact that you'll be able to have more confidence by listening to a bunch of kick-ass speakers, A lot of people love coming to our events because there's awesome, like-minded, top-producing professionals in the audience that you can network with, which means that you'll be able to establish good relationships with high-quality people and grow your net worth. You would agree that if you were here and you had better relationships, that you would be able to have more success in your life and increase your net worth, right? Yeah. Great. Now, a lot of you guys are going to be tempted to jump right into the close because your buyer is hot and ready like a Little Caesar's pizza, but don't. Don't do it yet. What I like to do is I like to kind of back off and value my time. Hey, I can see we've been on this call here for 12, 15 minutes. Out of total curiosity, what did you like most about what I've shown you here so far? And then take your notes, because that's your ammunition for later should they give you any objections. What did you like most about what you heard so far? Oh, well, I really like that there's going to be a bunch of speakers there and that there's networking and yada, yada. Hey, I love it. That's what a lot of people have been saying. But before you jump into the close, you're going to want to sell the other 3 things that you're actually selling. Obviously, we sold our product or our service, whatever it is. We've demonstrated features, advantages, and benefits, and we've done the emotional gap questions. We've done the inarguable yes questions, but there's 3 other things that you're selling to help increase the overall perceived value of what it is that you're selling. You're going to want to sell your company. People give a shit these days about what company they're doing business with. So highlight why your company is great. Maybe it's a very big company that offers unlimited support, 24-hour phone, whatever. Maybe you're a small company like me, where you're actually going to be a family member in my business. We're actually going to give a shit about you. Maybe some of your companies do some good charitable work or give 5% of net profits to the Boys and Girls Club. Mention this. People care a great deal about the company that they're doing business with and where that money is actually going and how it's being used. In addition to the fact you're working with a kick-ass company, I want to let you know that we offer 24/7 white glove, red carpet, VIP service and support to customers just like you. Whatever your warranties are, guarantees, customer service, whatever it is, outline it for people and let them know that the sale only begins when they become a customer. And then finally, put some value on yourself. You're more valuable than any product or service that you could sell. What's it like working with you? For me, I let people know I'm a fucking hustler. You have a question at 2 a.m. on a Saturday night, I'm not going to be out at the club, I'll pick up your call. If you live in Akron, Ohio, and you overfilled your vehicle with too many groceries and you don't want to go in and out of your house to make 2 trips, holler at me. I'll show up and I'll be the person that gets it done for you. It's one of my favorite lines, at least. Usually gets a pretty good response. And then, you're still not ready for the close. There's one last thing that you're going to want to do. I learned a very valuable lesson when I had my own CRM company a couple years ago. I've been in sales for 20 years. I know exactly what salespeople are looking for when it comes to a CRM. So I built one. It wasn't that incredible. But I would get on Zoom calls and I would show business owners, dude, here's my CRM. Switch to it. And honestly, all I got was amazing positive feedback. Dude, I love how you laid that out. The UX, UI is awesome. I can see why my people would enjoy this more than fucking Salesforce. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to get a deal. And I'm like, so when do you want to get started? And they're like, yeah, like, how about next year? How about next quarter? We gotta think. And I was wondering to myself, dude, as one of the most badass salespeople that I can find myself, how come I have a 0% closing ratio when people are giving me such great feedback? It was because I didn't introduce next steps in my sales pitch. As soon as I did this, my closing ratio went up to 63%, like overnight. All I did is I made one slide that literally showed them the process of what happens when you decide to become a customer. Hey, by the way, in a moment here, we're going to go through the contract and the agreement. I want to let you know that the moment that gets done, Nancy, my onboarding girl, is going to shoot you an email. And then she's going to introduce you to Chuck, who's going to do your data migration and take your contacts from Salesforce and put it into this CRM. And then, by the way, we wouldn't expect you to show your people how to use it. We're going to schedule a sales launch call and onboarding so that everybody knows exactly how to use it best. Blah, blah, blah. Introducing all of those things. If you guys are, especially if you have a complex sale, you're going to want to make sure that your customers know exactly what happens when they decide to purchase and when they decide to buy from you. Because they don't buy your products every day and they don't know what to expect otherwise. So doing this will also eliminate some of those stall objections. We need to think about it. We're going to wait. We're going to shop around next quarter. All that bullshit. You're going to handle that. And then, now you're ready. My favorite little closing line, how soon would you like to get started? And you'll know that you did a kick-ass job of doing everything that I just mentioned when your buyer's like, yesterday? And that shit happens to me all the fucking time. Because I have a process that is customer-based and it's valuable to them. Now, even if you're like me and you implement this and you do it perfectly and you go into isolation for the next 2 years and build this out and you do it well, you're still going to hear objections. How many of you guys love hearing customer objections? I do. It's kind of fun. Like, I've never heard that one before. I'll even do them for sport. I'll ask for them, like, dude, out of every reason you can think of why you wouldn't do this, what's the one reason why you wouldn't do it? And I'll have fun with it. Some of you guys might know me as the guy that sells cash cards, flash cards for closers. And I brought a couple of decks that I'm going to throw out to you guys, but they're not on stage yet. First thing I want you to know real quick before I wrap up is that objections in the close are fucking bullshit. They're not real. You guys ever heard somebody say, I need to think about it? How many of you guys agree that that's a very reasonable, logical reason why somebody shouldn't do business with you? It's bullshit. I got to talk to my partner or spouse, and the price is too high, and this is outside of my budget. Yada, 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 yada. There's a process and another formula that you guys can follow called the objection handling formula. But real quick, too, these objections are coming from the customer's subconscious. If you saw that last slide, it says that when somebody is trying to make a decision to do business with you, they're not comparing the decision to do business with you and buy your products to the string of other good decisions that they've made. They're comparing the decision to buy a house from you or buy a life insurance policy or buy some sales training from you to all of the bad decisions that they've made. I would be a billionaire if everybody read the books that they purchased. I would be a billionaire if everybody took really great notes at events like this and actually implemented them and used them in real life. Because when I ask for money for sales training, you'd be like, dude, it's worked every single time because I've used it. But most people don't use their gym membership, most people don't read their books, and most people don't actually implement the notes that they take at seminars like this into their lives, and they fail to get the result that they need. And so when I jump on the phone and I'm like, yo, my shit's $5,000, you're like, I didn't really use it the right way last time, so that's the trickiest part about my job, and that's likely the tricky part about what you guys do as well. But there's a formula that you can follow called ART plus question mark. And it stands for acknowledge, reply, and transition with a question. You can use this on every single objection, no matter what, so that the next time somebody says, I need to think about it, you can acknowledge them. I completely understand. An acknowledgement like that is going to help save you some time of thinking about what to say immediately so that you can transfer a response that's soaked in certainty. And it's also going to fulfill your buyer's basic human desire of feeling understood. I completely understand. The reply portion of this is literally verbatim going to be what the objection itself was. I need to think about it. I completely understand that you need to think about it. I would do business with Jordan Stupar, but I don't like his beard. I completely understand that you don't like my beard. Whatever the objection is literally verbatim what's coming after your acknowledgement. Again, this is going to help buy you some time. And then finally, you're going to transition away from the objection with a question, not a call to action. Hey, I completely understand that you need to think about it, Steve. Truth is, I have a brain. I usually like to think about most of the decisions that I make as well. So I couldn't fault you for doing the same. Out of curiosity, on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being you know right now this is going to be the greatest decision of your life to buy a $5,000 ticket to this event called Closer School Live, and a 1 being you wouldn't show up if we paid you to be here, where do you stand? I'm at like a 7, bro. Love it. Great number. Out of curiosity, what would make it a 10 right now? Oh, well, it's just really expensive, and, I just want to make sure this is in my budget. I completely understand that you want to make sure this is within your budget. Truth is, I try to stay within budget as often as I can too. Now, when you're saying budget right here, and I have a problem myself thinking about buying expensive things, it's usually because of one of 4 different things. It's either 1, I literally can't afford this thing, or it would take food off the table. 2, it's a little bit more than what I was hoping to spend. 3, I can literally go to a similar event somewhere else for less. Or 4, I'm just complaining about it like I do when I buy anything that's expensive, but I do it anyway because I want it. Which one is it for you? Well, now they're probably going to tell you something about it's more money than they were hoping to spend, or that they can get it from somewhere else for less. And at the end of the day, I have these flashcards with 50 cards in them with all this, and literally, I've sold millions of dollars worth of these decks of cards because salespeople love handling objections. So you can always get your hands on those if you would like. I'm not going to go through every single objection, and I'm running out of time. The final thing that I want to say is that if you guys are really looking to use any of this information, it's going to actually take a pretty decent amount of time from your side to actually think about all of the features, to think about all the advantages, the benefits, and the way that you form your sales pitch. And I want to let you know that this is the most valuable work that you can do. If you guys went to war today and you were the general, the captain, the person running the war, would you just kind of like, we're winging it? Or would you try to figure out every possible strategy that can give you the best outcome possible? Most salespeople, even with great information from great speakers, and I know that there's a bunch of other great speakers that are going to bring you guys some great value. I just want to encourage you guys to actually take some time every single day, 10, 15 minutes, and think about the way that you're selling to other people. Because your customers are definitely thinking about ways to get out of it. Your customers are practicing much more frequently on getting out of doing deals than a lot of us salespeople spend getting deals. So who has the advantage here, us or our customers? Customers usually do. But if you take this shit seriously and you actually implement, I know that you'll make more money, I know that you'll have more confidence, and you'll be able to build more value in the products and services that you sell by getting people to become emotional and actually want what it is that you sell. And I'm out of time basically, so if you want to connect, you found this good, this resonated with you, and you want to just connect, I promise I will never sell you anything you don't want to buy. This is not a QR code to spend any money or sign up for anything. It's just a form. I can grab some of your info, and my team and I, we can reach out, connect, and we can hear what you thought about this, answer any of the questions you might have, or provide you with any additional value that you're actually looking for. I love connecting with other people that want to grow and learn. The only type of people I don't work with are lazy people. Thank you so much for your time.